Welcome back to Brad's Repair. I decided to go ahead and do another video. We're going to do something a little bit more in depth today. A little bit above your basics. We'll say moderate to advanced level. We're going to be changing an inner and outer, or not an inner and outer, we're going to be changing a wheel bearing, wheel hub assembly on my wife's car. I did the passenger side a few months ago. Just didn't have enough time to get to the driver's side. Sometimes life gets in the way. So today we're going to be doing that. So a couple of things you'll need. Obviously you'll need a new wheel hub assembly. You'll need a jack to jack up the car, a tire iron, or like me, and something my beautiful, awesome wife got me a few years ago. A really nice Impact. Love this thing. It's one of the best tools that she ever bought me. If you don't have one of these, that's fine. Just get you a breaker bar or a lug wrench, as they call it. Preferably a 4-way, because you want to be able to have something with a little bit of to be able to get a little leverage on. So got my Impact because I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna use the old Wrist Saver 9000. Got me some top quality Harbor Freight impact sockets. So on this one, seems like a 21 millimeter. I'm gonna apologize for the noise in advance because impacts are loud. So on these Nissan, just to show you real fast, these center hubcaps are actually held on by the lug nuts. So you can't even pop these off until you get the actual lug nuts off. So we got our jack under here. We're gonna take our wheel and tire. We're gonna roll it out of the way. I've already kind of cheated, as you can see, and already jacked up the car to get that knocked out of the way. I've already got our light set up. I have most of our tools set up so we can get this done relatively quickly. So the next thing, we'll set our light up against here like this. You will have to take the brake caliper, the brake caliper bracket, and your rotor off to be able to do this. So I'm gonna grab some wrenches and things real fast. So you may or may not need a breaker bar or some type of cheater pipe to be able to get this off. So the way we're gonna do it, let me grab you guys, bring you over here real fast. See if we can get in here. Got a bolt there, a bolt right here. Gotta take this off, and then right back here we have this one that has to come off. And then I don't know if I can see it or not. See if I can shine some light on the subject. Right here will have to come off. So we're gonna start with our brake caliper. Sometimes, guys, you can get lucky and you don't have to take the entire brake caliper apart to do this. Sometimes you can actually, let me get you guys set up first. I want you guys to be able to kind of follow along with me here as I progress in this. Like I said, we're going to do this relatively quickly. So the two bigger nuts that I just showed you, those are the ones that hold this entire assembly on. So what I'm going to attempt to do, and you can do this sometimes, is instead of taking the brake pad bolt or the brake caliper bolt out of the top and bottom and shifting it out of the way and then taking the bracket off, I'm going to attempt to take this all off as one entire unit. That way when I take it off, it's all one unit. It'll go all back on as one unit. So I'm gonna get inside the car now, and I'm gonna turn the steering wheel so it'll bring it out this way, so we'll be able to get to them bolts a lot easier. You may need a breaker bar if you have that available. I try to use an Impact when I can. Here's the thing though, guys. Impacts are great for taking things off, and yeah, I can say that I am guilty of using them in the past to put stuff back on, but it's better in the long run if you just use a torque wrench and torque everything back down to the way it's supposed to be. Everything on a car has a torque spec. Even like in the last video when we did our oil change, the drain plug on them, even those have a torque spec. They're not very high, but it is a thing. Ooh, shaky, shaky. All right, so we got that top one loose. By the way, I'm using a breaker bar, top quality Harbor Freight, with my top quality Harbor Freight 22mm impact socket to break these bolts or these nuts loose. Bolts, nuts, whatever you want to call them. So I'm gonna get up, give myself a little bit of leverage there. Now guys, I could have used the impact on that, could have easily just zip right out of there, been okay, no problem. But when it's on your own personal vehicle, use your own preference, use your own thought process on it. If you choose to, use an impact on it, hey, if you have the room, do it. There's that bolt. They're not very long. We'll be reusing that. All right. So there's our lower one. So what I like to do is try to put this in some type of orientation where you'll know which is top, which is bottom. So we know that's the bottom. We know that's our top. So I know looking at this, I know that's my top, I know that's my bottom. So now, as I was saying earlier, this might fight you just a little bit. Grab on either the top or the bottom, spin it out like that, and now the entire assembly is off. For right now, we don't want that hanging just by the hose. That's bad. They will break. It's not good. So I'm gonna grab me something to help me tie that up with. Give me just a second. Digging through my buddy's pile of miscellaneous stuff, I was able to find me a bungee cord. It's a little bit longer than what I need, but that's fine. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this side, just hook it on there, then we'll take the other one and we'll just wrap it around the shock itself. And we're just gonna keep wrapping and wrapping. So we'll hold that there so it doesn't spin off again. Sweep it up through here like this. All right, so we got that off. So now the next thing is, if you look right here, there's a pin, a cotter pin, they call it, that goes through here. I'm not a big fan of this one because it is a little bit short, but we have to work with what we got. So now I'm gonna get back behind here, which might be hard to see. Let's see if we can get a little quick view of that for you guys. I need to start shining more light on this subject, don't I? All right, so here and here, and then see if we can get it down here. There's one right there at the tip of my finger. Then there's also one right across from it. And to be able to get to those, we have to get up inside the back of here. Get this light in here if I can. There's 2 bolts there. That's in the frame. And then right up here, there's the other 2 bolts. You got to get those loose there. You also got to take this little cotter pin out that you can see. If I can get my light to cooperate with me long enough to show you guys. Got to get this cotter pin out. And then this is our hub nut. This is for the CV axle. We'll have to loosen that. And then I'll show you how to get it off from there. There's a couple of different ways to get it off, but we're gonna do it the quickest way today. Also, as you can see, there's my brand new wheel hub assembly. It's got brand new studs already in it, ready to go on there. So now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get back in the car and I'm gonna straighten that wheel. What would be the wheel and tire if it was on there? And we're gonna spin that back around with the steering to realign that back out so it's easier for us to, actually, no, you know what? I'm jumping ahead of just a little bit, but I'd rather be ahead than behind, if you know what I mean. So actually what we're gonna do while we got it here, get my Cobra pliers. I love these guys. Guys, if you need a pair of pliers, I definitely recommend Cobra pliers. They have that nice little locking button right there. You just push the button in, you can slide up and down. Other than that, they will not move like your normal traditional set of pliers. I love these things. I can't brag about these tools enough. I don't know who came up with them, but I would love to shake that guy's hand, because I've used regular channel lock pliers and adjustable pliers for years, and they suck after a little bit of use. So we bent that out. We kind of pushed it in a little bit. Now we're going to pull it out through the other side. There's our cotter pin. That's pretty much up. Pretty simple for that. Now we'll go to the back side back here where we showed them nuts or the bolts. And we're going to guess about what size it is. I'm going to say most of everything in this car is a 17. So I'm going to guess that it's a 17. And I'd be right. So I'm going to take the good old breaker bar again. Get on it. That's one. I'm going to go to the other side since it looks like I can get to it from here. That one slipped on me. Now we'll go to our top one. That's three. So we got the one side out. Both of those are off now. So we're going to this side. I've just spun the wheel around so we can get to the front side of it to get those bolts out. Once again, try to remember where you took them out of, which side, and top and bottom. If you're like me, you know, fortunately, ones like me who are recording it, even if I did forget where I put it, I have the fortunate ability to be able to go back behind and rewatch my video and say, okay, this one came out of here, this one came out of here. But if you're not confident that you'll remember where everything's at, pro tip for you, get you a piece of cardboard, label it, and then just take your bolt, push it through there, and then right beside it with a Sharpie or a pen or whatever you have available to you, you know, top left bolt, bottom left bolt, or, you know, top front bolt, bottom front bolt, however you want to label it. So now I'm gonna leave it like that. I do believe this was a, I'm gonna call it at a 28. Like I said, I've already did the passenger side forever ago. It is a 28. Now I will tell you, if you ever go to do this, a hub, if you ever go to do a hub bearing, I don't care what type of vehicle it is, unless it's older than a 90. If you have a front wheel drive and it has a front wheel drive or a four wheel drive and it has a CV axle, you're gonna have to have an impact, whether it be a cordless or an air. You can take a breaker bar or whatever you want, and you'll work your butt off on it. Okay, you're never gonna break it loose. You have to have an impact for this. So for this center hub, it's a 28 millimeter. Now I don't know, I doubt you guys seen that, but what I did is I actually put it to tight. I selected it to on my impact to where it would tighten it, and I gave it like a 3 to 5 second bump. That's to kind of break everything loose. Don't drive it home, but give it a couple of bumps that way, and then put it in reverse of what you need to go to actually loosen it off. I found more often than not that will help out tremendously. So what I'm gonna do now is there's a couple of ways you could do this. I'm gonna leave that nut on here just a little bit. Not gonna take it fully off yet. Now what you could do at this point, because this is a bolt on and not a press in, you could take you a hammer or a dead blow and you could beat on this thing and it will come off. I had to do it on the passenger side that way because I did not have the tools, the proper tools at the time, I guess you would say. But now I do have the proper tools. I picked these up at my local Menards. I think they were only like 16 bucks. Guys, if you use this one time and get your wheel hubs off and you never use this thing again, you got your 16 bucks worth of. So what we have anyway, these are a 3-piece gear puller set. Comes in 3 different sizes. Like I said, I got this at my local Menards. I think it was around 16 or $20. I think we got that set up good enough now. So the idea here is to get to 3 different points, whatever 3 points you can, like this, and then you have the center that's going to lock on to the. There's a hole in the middle of the CV axle, so we're gonna lock that one on there. Grab that one, lock it under there. It's going to be kind of difficult at first to get her set up, but once you get it set up, it'll make all the difference in the world. So then, now all of our arms are grabbing it. So now they should bottom out onto that point right there. So now we have that locked on there. So what I'm gonna do, for the sake of time, is I'm gonna lock my impact on that, and we're gonna go to town on it.
Alright, so it did push the axle through, which is key, but the only bit of difference is that axle unit will come off there, you know what I mean? So we're gonna reset this up again, try one more time, get this thing off, spin this back out, get it nice and loose. We're gonna go ahead and set the center a little bit, get that fork back on there, that fork back on that, and hopefully this time it's gonna start ripping. Okay, I feel a little bit better about that, so let's let it rip, tater chip. I felt it.
Sometimes this is the stuff you got to do, guys. I mean, we'll give her a shot. There she is. Alright, she came off. And I only did a little bit of damage to that back plate, but that's fine. I'm not super concerned with the back plate, to be honest with you. That went a lot smoother than the last time, I'll promise you that. Alright, so let's push that axle on through there. Whew. Yeah, she don't want to come off. There she is. Cool. And then there's our backing plate. Just make sure that you keep that ideal where you know where it's at. I just happen to smack mine, so I know exactly where it goes back. So, but there she is. There's our old hub assembly. So now we can chuck it out of the way into our part scrap pile over there, and we'll grab our nice new one. Now, this will pretty much work the same way. We're just going to put back on what we took off. So these particular ones here will not necessarily matter which way you put them on there. There's not an upside down to it per se. So I'm going to try to just do my best to lock this thing on here however I possibly can, and to kind of help me out a little bit. We're going to take our big nut, we're going to get that thing back on there, start slowly reassembling here. Just want to make sure everything gets lined up at least enough to where you can get your bolts started again. So now grab this bolt. Like I said, try to put everything back to where it was to the best of your ability. This is the hardest part about it, getting it lined back up. Got a battery powered ratchet. These things are really awesome. Let's see. See if we can get a battery powered ratchet on this. Oh yeah, she took to it that time. Now we got that. I do not, unfortunately, know the actual torque spec for these. So I'm just going to tighten it until I feel comfortable with it. With the old breaker bar out. I'm going to cheat just a little bit because I have these adapters, these socket adapters. Get that thing out of the way. There we go. All right, that's good. We got that now. So we're all back together on the hub assembly. I'm just gonna take this old rag here, wipe off some of this dust. So now, put our rotor back on. That's on there. And so what I'm gonna do for that, to kind of hold that in place, is I'm gonna take two of these. We'll put one at the top and one kind of at the bottom. Got those started like that. What did I say? I think it's a 17 mil, or let's see, is it a 22? Yeah, 22. So now go ahead and start spinning these on there. So now we need to pull this up, pull that off, and see what it is that we have done in here. Okay, so let me grab a tool. Be right back. Okay, so I didn't bring my actual compressor tool. my piston tool. So we're just gonna take this and, like I said, we may have to blow it apart. I don't know. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping we can get just enough room out of it to slide it back on there. But I'm not too confident in that. So we may actually have to pry this thing apart. Which will be unfortunate if I have to. And it seems like we're gonna have to, because we're just a wee bit in too far. So we may have to break this caliper apart real fast, which if we do, it is what it is. Let me see. Let me try something real fast first. See if we have a C-clamp somewhere. Alright, so I found a C-clamp. So I think we'll be okay. We're gonna attempt this. I've never tried this with pads on, so I don't know if it's gonna work, if it's not, but we're gonna give her a shot nevertheless. So I'm gonna put my leg up here so I can kind of hold it, and hopefully this will give just enough that it don't do a lot of damage to my pad, because I don't want to replace pads right now if I don't have to. Alright, yeah guys, I think we're going to have to blow it apart, unfortunately. I feel like that's going to be the circumstances here. If we hadn't had to push the brake to activate the car, I feel like we could have got it right back on there with no problems. But these things happen, guys. Nothing always goes according to plan, which it's fine. It is what it is sometimes, you know. Sometimes things happen and we don't expect it to, and then they do. Yep. Alright, so I guess I'll try to blow this apart as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Like I said, I had no intent of doing that, but you know, sometimes you gotta do things you don't want to do, and that's okay. So we're gonna loosen that bolt there. I guess this will give you a quick lesson on how to get to your brake pads then, huh? So you're getting a little 2-for-1. So that's one bolt. That's 2 bolts, like that. So just spin that out really, really fast. Just like that. And now you got 2 separate pieces. You got your caliper, you got your caliper bracket, still has the pads on it. So now I'm gonna do pretty much what I was doing earlier, but backwards. I'm gonna set that C-clamp in there. They do make a tool for this. I just don't happen to have it with me right now. Was not expecting to have to do this today. But I'm also not used to driving a newer car where you have to push the brake to start the darn thing either, so. It's all about trial and tribulation sometimes, guys, you know. So I see a lot of people, they'll actually crack the bleeder on the back of these and open it up that way. But I personally, I just push the piston back in. I don't even crack the bleeder on it. I've been doing it that way for years, haven't had a problem with it yet. You just have to make sure that once you get in the car that you pump your brake pedal a few times so it realigns itself. So now we got that out of the way. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and hook this on here somehow so it will hold itself up until I'm ready for it. So I'm gonna hang it right there like that, just so that it's not completely hanging by the cable. And then I'm gonna take this guy right here, like so, and I'm gonna leave the back pad on, which I guess is a good thing that I did have to take it off, because it's now showing me that these pads do need to be changed. But I guess at least if anything, you'll have a leg up knowing how to do this. You just won't have to go to the depths that I had to do. Wasn't planning on doing it. Unfortunately, sometimes things happen and you don't expect it. That's one thing I always try to tell people, you know. They always ask, well, how long does it take to do this? How long does it take to do that? Guys, you could always tell somebody what you think it might take, but you can't calculate for the stuff that's going to happen in this process. Like this as an example, I didn't expect to have to take those two pieces apart to be able to do this. It's just one of those things sometimes. What did I say that was? I think it's way bigger than that. Let's try that one. Oh yeah. So to put this bracket back on with those big bolts, it's a 22 millimeter, just as a reminder. So, like I said, I don't know the torque spec for it, so we're just gonna torque it like we love it. Well, as it turns out, that's a little harder to get in there than what I thought. So, breaker bar. Pull all those adapters off of it, put our breaker bar on it, and we're just gonna work it like we love it. All right, that one's solid, guys. Now we'll go to the bottom. Same thing. That seems pretty solid to me. So now we're gonna go ahead, take our front pad, shove it back on there. We're gonna press them in all the way up to the rotor. Now, screwdriver. Sometimes they want to fight you, and that's okay. It's usually because of some stupid clip or something that's on here that is old and just wants to fight you a little bit. Just get something soft and smack on the back of it sometimes. Sometimes that's what it needs. So now we got that off there. We're gonna make sure that our stuff is not bound up. We'll set that back on there like that. Then we'll take our two bolts, put them back in. Get that one started, just to hold it. Get that top one lined up. Now these, you can get these with like a 3/4 or a 3/8 drive ratchet, just a basic ratchet. Just don't lose your ratchet in the process, and remember where you put it. You don't have to torque these like you love them, guys. I watch people do it all the time. You don't have to do that. Just do that. Get them as tight as you can. Give them a few fist bumps, and that's good. Because what I find a lot of times is people strip these things, and guys, when you strip them, you then have to take the entire assembly apart. Because more often than not, they end up shearing off and breaking inside that caliper. Once that happens, unless you want to take the time to drill them back out and all that nonsense and then re-tap them, you got to pull all that back off, start all over again. It's not worth it. So stop torquing stuff like you love it when it comes to certain things. Certain things is okay if it's a big bolt, but little bolts like that, let's do it. Now we can pull our nuts back off. The only one I had a little problem with was this lower one. Hopefully it just had a little bit of dirt on it or something. So now we're just gonna straighten this. We'll put the wheel back on it, and that'll be it. Move some of our stuff out of our way. Now we can put our wheel back on. Perfect. One thing I did forget, I'm glad I seen it. We got to put our cotter pin back in. Luckily, we can just take that like that. Put it where we want it. Take our Cobra pliers that are nice and covered in dirt now. We're just gonna bend that around like that. I will have to replace this one. I definitely recommend that if you do at any point have to take a cotter pin out, go ahead and replace it. Shove our wheel out of the way there. Alright, now we just put our axle nut, or our wheel, our lug nuts, if I can get it out. I can't talk today. That was getting a little toasty in here, guys. It's a little bit more than I was initially planning on taking on today, but to know that my wife can get in this car every single day and go where she wants, when she wants, and not have to worry about things happening, not having to be scared to go anywhere that she wants to go, makes me feel a lot better. Like I said, I work a full-time job, and unfortunately, I don't always have the ability to just up and leave work to go rescue her off the side of the road. You know, if I had to, I definitely would, but if I don't have to, you know. Oh guys, I almost forgot. I almost did. I was more worried about putting the wheel back on. Get that nut back off there. We almost forgot our hubcap. I'm not a hubcap guy. I'm a Steely guy. So if you've seen my videos, you'll see my Toyota, no hubcaps. I hate them. I do. Not a hubcap guy. And this be the reason why right here. They are a pain in the butt. Impact socket to help get these torqued on there. And we're basically done, guys. That's a little bit more than what I expected to be, but hopefully you learned something. Hopefully it was something that will help you out. Maybe one day you'll have to do this. And like I said, you know, I was doing this as a preventative maintenance type of thing. It wasn't super necessary to be done. But like I said, I was ordering parts for my car, and while I was there I said, well heck, if I'm gonna do mine, I might as well go ahead and do hers. If I can prevent it now, I'd rather do it, because like I said, when we bought this car, guys, we bought this car used. You don't always know what you're buying, so you can look at them while you want. You can kick the tires on it and all that good stuff, but until you actually own it and drive it for a while, there's not always 100% guarantee that you're going to be able to find every little thing wrong with them. So if you have the ability to go ahead and replace stuff for the long run, because you plan on keeping it for a long time, do it. It definitely does not hurt. And wheel hubs are definitely one of those things that I can definitely recommend to people to replace on their car. You know, not saying you gotta do it. You could always wait until you don't have to do it, but if you are already down there and you got to do a wheel job or a brake job or something anyway, you might as well go ahead and kill all your birds with one stone if you can. Unfortunately, like today, I wasn't planning on messing with any of the brake stuff other than getting it out of my way. And as you've seen, to get this car to start so that I could rotate, put that in neutral, I had to hit that brake, and it pushed that piston out. And fortunately, I was lucky enough that it didn't push it out so far that it messed up the assembly on it. So I got real lucky. But me personally, if I was gonna have to do this again on this particular car, which now I will not have to, I know that, I would have went ahead and bought new brake pads anyway and put them on here. But if anything, I guess the bright side is that's content for another day. It's a project for another day. I'm really hoping that this channel takes off, and I'm hoping to get some viewers on here that this will actually help. I want that was my intended purpose of this, is I have all this stuff, all this we'll say useless knowledge, and I'd like to be able to pass it on to you guys so that you can use it and maybe learn something. Or maybe you're just looking for a little bit of help on a similar project as this. And you're not sure what tool you might need or what it might entail. Well, if anything, hopefully this right here will do it. hopefully this will give you an idea. Let's break out that old wrist saver. Oh, got the wrist saver dirty. And then before I drop this down, I'm gonna give it a few bumps with this, and then I'll torque it afterwards. All right, and then like I said, once I lower it down, we'll go ahead and at that point, I'll take a torque wrench and set it to the correct torque, and that'll be it. Guys, I know this was a little bit more in depth than what we're used to. I almost forgot this bungee cord up here. That wouldn't have been good. I would have figured it out going down the road to Bardstown tomorrow. Anyway, I know it was a little bit more in depth than what we have done in the past, but like I say, guys, this was a spur of the moment. It was kind of one of those fire from the hip type things. Wasn't planning on doing it. It just kind of happened to be the right place at the right time. But anyways, it's better than watching me change spark plugs or do an oil change. Anyway, I hope this video helps. I hope you learned something. Maybe you seen a new tool on here that you didn't know about that might help you with a future project. Or if you're doing it yourself and you're just wanting to get a little bit of in-depth knowledge on what it might entail to have to do it. Anything, guys, as long as somebody walks away with something from this video, that's good enough for me. But this car is now, other than now we know we have to put brakes on it, which we'll do in a future video. That's pretty much it. This car is done for right now, and now I'm a little bit more confident that my wife can get in it and go wherever she wants to go and not have any issues. Guys, I hope you learned something. I hope you liked my videos. If you do like them, or you get something out of them, do me a favor, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.